Good morning. Let me welcome all of you to our first lesson on the simple present. I want to continue our discussion on this topic. We dealt with in the beginning some of the subject pronouns in the first, second, and third person, both singular and plural. And this morning, I want to extend that conversation to dive more deeply into the question of the simple present. So I want you to direct your attention to the slide, which I will at this time bring up. So the simple present tense, the objective this morning is for us to be able to, at the end of this lesson, understand the use of the simple present tense to describe one, routine actions, general truths, and permanent situations. The routine actions are things that happen regularly, and we will be looking more closely at that in a minute. General truth are truth that are things that are always true, and permanent situations are things that do not change. Now, let's look at some examples of routine actions or things that happen regularly. You see the picture of this lady, she's eating breakfast. So the woman eats lunch every day. She's having her lunch. The woman eats lunch every day. That's something that she does every single day. The next picture is of a young boy watching TV. The boy watches TV every evening. Now, I'm not sure that is a great habit, but that's what he does. So, those two examples are of things that happen regularly. Now, the next kind of simple present sentence that we discussed earlier are general truth or things that are always true. Things that are always true. Example, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. It doesn't matter where you are, in Jamaica, in Mexico, in Japan, in North America, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Another thing that's always true is the earth orbits the sun. The earth goes around the sun. That happens all the time. Thank God. Because if it ever stops, we're in trouble. Okay? Good. Now, the next category of simple present sentences are permanent situations or things that do not change. Now, the first example is a little bit suspect. He works at a hospital. That could change, right? Okay, but I can find a better example. The other one is he is from Jamaica. Now that's me right there in that picture. And I am from Jamaica. That will never change. I live in America now, but I am from Jamaica. So he is from Jamaica. Okay, so there we have it. We look at three kinds of simple present sentences. Okay, now the next slide, I want to even go further in looking at the structure of the simple present tense. And there are two kinds. We have the affirmative, he plays basketball. The negative, he doesn't play basketball. So the affirmative is the yes. The affirmative is like the negative is like the no. So he plays basketball. Negative, he doesn't play basketball. For the extent of this lesson, we're just going to focus on the affirmative for today. We will treat the negative in a later lesson. Now, we have So there's some, we won't spend much time on the slide because we'll break it down more clearly later on in this lesson. So let's move on to the next slide. Affirmative sentences. So these are positive statements, things that happen. Affirmative. So example, well, what's the basic structure of the affirmative? We have the subject plus the base verb, and I will explain what that looks like in just a minute. So let's move on to the next slide for an example of that. She plays tennis on Sundays. She, that's the subject, plays tennis on Sunday. So that is the affirmative. We have the subject and we have the verb. Then another example is he paints the house. He paints the house. He is a subject, and we learned that in an earlier lesson, is that the subject pronoun. He paints the house. They run in the park. They, your subject, run, your verb, in the park. They run in the park. Now, you might have seen something which I need to bring to attention. Note, for he, she, or it, and we discussed this earlier, the third person, right? You add S or ES to the verb. Example, she studies English. She studies English. He teaches math. He teaches math. Right there, we add an ES. Another example, we have it rains a lot. It rains a lot. Let's stop right